Hello, hello. Here we are again, coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha of 44 different platforms around the world. And my name is Aage, and my co-host Nori, she is on the road and she is not here yet, so we're hoping she might still make it. Who knows? If the traffic and everything and the creek don't rise, then she might show up. Anyway, I I said we are on 44 different platforms. One of them is the Conscious Awakening Network. It's a wonderful platform. They are totally independent. They cannot be censored. So that's where you find the really good stuff because everything is safe there. You can go have a look at it at the Conscious Awakening Network.org. And you need to spend some time over there because there's some really good stuff in those close to 50 or so channels or shows that they got over there. And also, before I introduce the guest, I want to tell you how you can connect with us, with Nori and me. Go to broadcastteamalpha.com. That's our website. Find the contact feature and send us an email, and we'll get the email and we'll be back to you and try to figure out what we can do to you or do for you. So, if you are watching on YouTube right now, that's one of the platforms, please subscribe. If you like what you hear, please subscribe because that will help us a lot. And also, the super chat is open. So if you feel like you want to support us there also, we would love it. It's almost like Christmas in February now. So it's a wonderful thing and it makes us feel good. It tells us that we are doing the right thing. So we thank you. And then I want to say a few things about our guests. We have Jerry Ginn with us. And his website, a lot of people, they want to surf the website while they're listening to the show. So that is jerrygin.com. That is jerrygin.com. And tonight we're going to talk about the big shift we are all going through, whether we like it or not, or whether we even know it or not. We are going through it, all of us. And we're going to talk about the birth of a new humanity. Now, this is going to get interesting. Now, Jerry, he is a PhD in biochemistry, and he has spent 55 years of pharmaceutical, diagnostic, laboratory, medicine, and a few other medicines. And he has founded several companies in those arenas. But his passion has been with the area of the mind being. That word, mind being, goes back to the fact quantum physics tells us we are living in a mind-created universe. So now, we got a challenge on our hand. Can we accept that the mind creates everything around us? We're going to discuss that because quantum mechanics, and I've studied that quite a bit, it talks about that. And it gets interesting. And we are also going to talk about consciousness, how it creates and how we interact with it. And he has also been very interested in the nature of reality that we all are looking at, but maybe we don't even know what it is. And he is also a chairman of the Foundation of Mind Being Research. He's an author of a couple of books. One of them is Science, Subtle Energies, and Spirituality. And another book is called The Seeker and the Teacher of Light. So, with any much more from me, welcome to the show, Jerry.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
Oh, that's great. I mentioned those two books. Could you hold them up so people can see what they look like? So when they go to Amazon later on to look, there you go, that's one of them.
Yeah, and that book is really about who we are, the essence of ourselves, and affirmations to reach that understanding of who we are. And
Yeah.
the other book is Science, Subtle Energies, and Spirituality, A Path to I Am. And I Am is who you are. And this book
Uh,
teaches about that.
that's good. All right. Yeah, you know, and writing a book is almost like teaching it. And the saying goes that if you really want to learn something, start teaching it. And I think that's what you have done with these two books. People will learn a lot from reading them.
Yes, definitely. It's getting an understanding of who each of
Yeah,
us really are.
yeah. I mentioned the raising of consciousness, or well, I don't know, almost would call it a form of ascension, but uh, how is this vibration changing, and how is this going to happen for us? I would love to talk on that from whichever angle you feel is right.
Well, there's a shift going on, and it started for us in terms of observing it because we measure the shifts that are going on using the tools of radiesthesia. And that started in 2023. And there are activations within each of us. We developed new structures within us, and it's all measured in terms of subtle energies and activations within us and the energy levels within us and that we can monitor. So all that has been occurring, and probably the best way to describe it would be to show you some of the things that we were measuring, what was happening as we were changing, what the energy levels were back in 2023, how they've evolved in 2024 and 2025, and to reach astronomical levels now. And in that process, our consciousness has been changing. Things that were harmful to us in the past are no longer harmful. Things that we needed in the past, we no longer need. So things are happening in big, big ways. And the best way to do it is probably just to show you a few slides of what was happening to us, what was happening to our structures internally, and how we've been measuring that, the activations that have been occurring, and then the levels of energies that we are at now, and how we can measure that, and what's happened to in the past. In my books, we talk about affirmations, and affirmations link you up to your I am essence. But now our levels of energies are so high that we've gone beyond that I am essence to something called I am beyond. And I want to talk about that also. But first, I think I should give give you an idea of what's really happening to us in terms of the shift. So if I'm able to, I'll share my screen and share a few slides. I won't go through all the slides I have, but just a few, just give you a glimpse, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, let me go and click share and click here
There you go.
and click on to, let's see, how do I get to my slides now? It's hidden underneath this thing here.
You can get rid of that page and then,
Oh, okay. And I
yeah,
need to
yeah,
get down to the bottom area here where my slides are. There it is. Okay. Click onto that.
Okay.
And maybe what I'll do is I'll go to a particular slide right here. Maybe I'll go to this one here and I'll put it onto full screen and move my picture over a bit. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, we see the first shift.
Okay. In terms of back in 2023, prior to May 19th, when I was looking at people and looking at their auras, and I use radiesthesia, and I can talk about that later, to see people and see energies. And these were the types of energies I saw. And everyone had different types of auras and biofields, etc. But these are the auras. And uh, what happened then on May 19th, all these auras changed. And suddenly we had bands of colors surrounding us, and there was a cloud that surrounded us, and that cloud had white, ultraviolet, and violet as the
Hmm.
energies that we were detecting. And then within a few days later, all these bands disappeared, and what we got was just a cloud of white with all colors. So that's the first thing that happened. And things were then happening ongoing throughout from that point on through the current time frame. There are
Hmm.
activations that were occurring, and so there are triggers that were happening, and we would change the energies of how our pituitary gland would communicate with the pineal gland. We'd look at that, and that would change. That would change a number of times over the year. And as we were observing it, it's like a 100 monkey effect. More and more people would have these changes that were occurring. And there were structures within us that changed. There were new structures that were occurring. And I don't have the time to go through all those, so I'm not going to really go through that. But that was happening, and energy changes were occurring. I'll just give you a few, just to give you an idea of what was happening. For example, the pituitary gland I mentioned, there's communications of energies and different from male and female, and the energies were, and we can measure these energies. Blue would be indigo and ultraviolet, and red would be orange and red. And these would evolve over time. Eventually, the energies became white with all colors. And so that over a period of about a year and a half. There are other energies. There are Lifehood energies. There are connections with us, with different Lifehoods, and there are structures that we can measure that showed that. There's something that we call rainbow deer that had structures in the pineal gland area in the front of the head, the solar disc, and other areas that were new that, again, you can measure and find out what was happening. And within ourselves and our organs, our heart, gut, brain, there are energy exchanges going all the time, and palms and adrenals. Things were happening. An example of ancestral channels changing. Uh, to the right and to the left of us were channels that we can connect, they're used to connect to the various, to our mother-father channels, and they're separate, they're all contained within. But by February of from 2023 to 2024, that all had morphed into a single white channel and all essentially connecting us with our higher self.
Hmm.
And um, chakras changed. The chakras, everyone knows that, oh, you just measure that and you measure the clockwise rotation with a pendulum and you see what's happening. Those disappeared except for the heart area, and those became more movements, indicating that that was like a movement as musical composition. So things were happening that were now different. And so the old concepts of chakras had now evolved to something else. And if you looked at March of 2023, we had columns of energies moving throughout our body and into the surrounding us with the biofield, and the colors were like ribbons of colors surrounding it, and things would change from day to night in terms of the color going up and down. Our energy levels, if we measure our internal energy levels, it was around 500. And later on, I can describe that in more detail. But by 2024, in May, all those structures had changed. Physically, we look alike, but we had changed. We're now radiating energy, and the energy surrounding us and within us were all white, and the white had all colors, and we're radiating that energy, and our energies were now at 10 million in terms of our internal energies, and the biofield had changed from 5 feet to 7 feet in size. By November of 2024, what had happened was that new structures had come into being, and now we're at the quadrillion levels in terms of our energy. And I don't know if we'll have time to go through all the bits and pieces of what this drawing shows, but we have the energies in multiple aspects within us, and it's growing. The biofield is now at 22 feet, and the levels are very, very high. And this is a little complex to describe without going into a little more detail. I can go into it, but I'll just hold off on doing that. I'm just trying to give you an overview of what is in fact happening. By September of 2025, the levels of energies had now reached an astronomical level, 10 to 10 to 165th power, which is beyond most measurements that you can even talk about. And our biofield had now expanded to about 50,000 feet. And then that brings us to the next level of energies that were occurring, and elementals had come into play. And that had come into play in one of the previous slides, but I didn't describe it. But now the levels and complexity is much, much higher. And this chart is a good one to focus on, because this tells you what's happening with regard to the energies. If you measure your internal energy or measure the energies of the structures that I was showing you briefly, you'll see what's happening. On the y-axis is the levels of energies, and 1e plus 12 means basically a billion, because that's 12 zeros. That's
Ah,
just a way of describing it. So back in 2023, our levels were around 500. And by 2024, it had reached into the thousands, 10,000s, millions. And it looks like a flat line, but if you plot it, just that portion of it, it'd be a very steep line going up. But then in 2024, the levels really started going up, especially towards the November, December timeframe. And so you see, again, it looks like a slight curve up, but these were like 10 to the 24th. That's 24 zeros after one and 24 zeros. That's the level of energies that was going up. And that was just the beginning. So the curve just skyrocketed in 2025. So by May of 2025, it reached 10 to the 220th power. That's 220 zeros. And then by end of May, that was 500,000. By June, it was 30 billion. And then we said, okay, we can't measure it just with that way. So that by July it was 10 to the 10 to the 19th power, and by September it was 10 to 10 to the 165th power. And then by November of 2025, which is only a few months ago, it reached levels at it didn't make sense to record the numbers because you can't even record it. You put any number you want into there, quadrillions, whatever you want, and it'd be
Yeah.
above that. So I just said it's beyond measurement. So we have changed in these unbelievable ways. I can go back and
Wow.
stop sharing because you may have some questions at this point in time. But I can talk more about it and tell you what's happening. But we have changed, and then our affirmations and our consciousness has changed also. And I can go through some slides on affirmations, but you may want some questions with regard to what the heck are you measuring and what's happening and things of that nature. But may I just throw it open to you, Augie, to if you wanted any more information on this, or if you want me just to go through presentations.
Wow. Man, that curve is going almost straight up.
It is.
Where in the world do you think it's going to be in 2026? Will it
Well, we
ever
can.
top out?
Well, the what we're finding is that who we are. Before I said that, uh, our what way I described it in my books, the I am essence, your I am. But
Yeah,
as soon as these levels started occurring of going into that infinite level, the affirmations changed. The affirmations were always that I am rethink, I am. Back in 2023 and 2024 and most of 2025, that reflected the I am reflected who we are. And but by the 2020 by November of 2025, the affirmation stayed for a while at 10 at 1 times 10 to the 130th power, which is below 165, and then it went into infinity. At that point, that it went into infinity, our affirmations no longer tracked uh, the I am essence that I was describing in my books. It
yeah,
changed, and it changed to the only way you can describe it is I am beyond. So the terminology I am beyond came into existence uh, in the past month, basically, because that's how you can get the affirmations to come back to being functional, because now you're talking about who you really are now. You're beyond who you were. And I have a slide that sort of describes that beyond concept. And that's probably worth showing that slide.
hmm
Let me just go through some of these slides and go to, okay, this is a slide that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about in terms
I
of
am beyond.
I am
Okay.
beyond. If you draw a line, and that's that red thing, you get a pencil, draw a line. When you draw the line back in 2023, there are certain energies. Those energies are no longer applicable because we've shifted so much in terms of the energies. But it's an exercise in understanding what's happening. Before then, we knew about energies called BG3 and 369. In my book, I just described the origin of that 369 energy, which I figured out what it was when Tesla was talking about. If you only knew the secrets to 369, you'd have the key to the universe.
Oh, yeah.
But that I'd figured that one out because that said it was a toroidal structure and it's part of creation. So when you draw a line, the first thing you do is you have a thought. And the thought is you're going to draw this line. Then you draw that line. That's creation. You're a creator. Now you've created a line, and the line has certain energies associated with it. Before the line has what I call the 369 energy, and at the end of the line, the BG3 energy, which again, energies have changed, so this is just a placeholder for describing it.
hmm
At the beginning of the line, there's right at the very, very beginning, there's UV, and then there's green. Uh, and then within the line, there is 369 and BG3. It's like a toroidal structure. And in the center is stillness. And at the end of the line, there's infrared. and there's horizontal negative green, and there's BG3. So this is in fact a toroidal structure, and that's what creation is all about if you read the Walter Russell stuff. So, but you had the thought, and that drew the line. So in my previous teachings, I'm teaching I am, and the essence of who we are is thought, and everything is creation of thought. But with the increase in energies that are occurring, that is no longer true because who we are is beyond thought. So the correct statement is I am beyond, or I am beyond thought. And that
Mm.
gives you the idea of what everything is all about, because that's who we really are. And that's what I am teaching now as of a month ago, because this is the energies did not occur and the shifts did not occur until recently. In the meantime, lots of other things have changed, and I have other slides that show the changes that were occurring. EMF, people worry about that, but if your energies have moved up the way I'm describing it, EMF no longer bothers you. And there's something called personal wavelength. And the
Yeah.
personal wavelength is purely a pendulum with a neutral, it's a neutral pendulum on a string. And if you check yourself, the pendulum will, if you're in resonance with something, it goes clockwise. And if you're not, it goes counterclockwise. And EMF is always going counterclockwise back then because that's not good for you. And other
Yeah.
things, spoiled food's not good for you. It's counterclockwise. EMF
Yeah.
with these new energies, it doesn't bother you any longer. So
Yeah.
things have changed, and lots of other things have changed too. I'm just mentioning a few things, but I'm sure you have questions. I can go through more explaining about the affirmations and things, but I'll let you figure out if you want me to ask or think people might want to know more what these structures are
Yeah.
that I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
I see you talk quite a bit about I am, and I am beyond thought. And when we think about that, I am, if people dwell on that, that I am has an energy and a vibration attached to it. If you contemplate that in meditation, you're going to start getting an understanding and a message to create the understanding of what the source is. Because the I am is religion had it twisted. I'm going to take about 35 seconds and say this because this is something that religions, well, at least the Christian religion, they got it wrong. Because when the original writing, they talk about in the religions, they say, I am that I am. That wasn't the original writing. The original writing was translated from Aramaic to Old Greek to New Greek to Latin and into English. Along that path of translation, it lost its meaning. The original writing was, I am all there is. That was the original writing. So you're on to something here because when you talk about I am, there's something about that, those two words, or if you add anything to it, that reaches into the subconscious and it resonates. It sends a message maybe into the universal mind to get an answer, an understanding of what it means. Anyway, that's my thought, and I'm off my soapbox.
You are right on. And I love that description because I think that is what is happening right now. And that's the reason for the changes. Because I had always taught I am is the essence of us, because that's a pretty advanced concept by itself.
Yeah.
But now, with the energy changes, the old I am energies and old affirmations don't work. they're still powerful, but they don't work, and the energy levels are not there. With our energies moving to this unmeasurable infinite energy, and it continues to move, evolve. From November 4th to now, it's increased 600-fold. So if you
Yeah.
called it infinity in the beginning, it's 600-fold of that. But what's happening now is that the way to make the affirmations work now, what you have to do is include the concept of beyond. So before you would go into a higher level of vibration if you made the statement, I am rethink I am. But now with the change, you have to say, I am rethink I am beyond. Or I am rethink uh, I am within and beyond the cosmos. So you have to bring in the concept of the beyond to make it the energies measurable at the same level as who we are right now, because we're unmeasurable. And the affirmations always were resembling when you measure the levels of energy associated with affirmations that coincided with the energies of ourselves, if we measure the energies of ourselves, and again, using tools of radiesthesia to do that. So
Yeah.
that is the change that has occurred. And then the old affirmations are okay as long as you know that you are really, I am beyond. You can say I am beyond thought, but just I am beyond, or my affirmations uh,
Yeah.
within, beyond the cosmos. If you
Yeah.
put that in, you're okay.
That makes perfect sense to me. And gosh, I see now we are down at the bottom of the hour. And for those of you that joined us late, we are talking with Jerry Ginn. We are talking about what's behind the curtain. We're going to be talking more about what the universe is like. And he is the author of two books here. There's Science, Subtle Energies, and Spirituality. That's a very deep one. You need to have a look. And the other one is The Seeker and the Teacher of Light. That will change your life if you read it from front to cover. And I I also one more comment on I am beyond thought. Thought is action, and I am has no action. It just is. It is everything that is, including action. Am I close on that?
Yes, I think you are, because you're really beyond all those things, and therefore you can't have the thoughts, but you're beyond the thought.
Yeah.
And therefore, when you have a thought, you can use that thought to create. So that's what when you draw a line,
Yes.
that's what you're
Yes.
doing.
Thoughts will do that. And now I wrote down a question for myself here, and we are going through an acceleration of consciousness. And I wonder where that will bring us. Will it possibly bring us to a place? I shouldn't call it place, but a level of consciousness that most people call 5D, the fifth dimensional existence. How would you think this will unfold for us? What will be the symptoms? How can we know when we have gotten to the point where we can say, yep, I'm there?
Well, it's occurring right now, and all the changes that have been occurring are there to help us evolve and to evolve beyond, but really to get us into the concept of free will.
Yeah.
And what are we here for? We're here. What is the purpose? Why are we here? And it is to evolve. And where are we evolving to? And how are we evolving? Uh, Free will is something that was given to us so that we can evolve. But free will has been hindered due to lots of different attachments, egregores. Egregore is a new concept that most readers or listeners won't know about. But within the brain, the fourth ventricle typically are housed the egregores that help control us. And the egregores are things that are good for us sometimes, but also things that will prevent us from doing things based upon free will. It could be
Yeah.
religious, could be government, could be parents. So there are good things about those. And there are things that are controlling us. And therefore, you have to harmonize the egregores that are controlling. And with a pendulum, you can figure out the ones that are controlling because they're counterclockwise versus clockwise to you. And once you harmonize and bring those things in, and there are things that also uh, back in 2023 and 2024, structures within us that were controlling us. The colors and the auras and things of that nature were controlling us. We used to have red mask, and we used to have anklets, red anklets that were there that were controlling us. As you go through the evolution of activations and release those things, those go away, and you no longer have that. And therefore, you're free to do the things that you need to do. And as long as you're not impinging on others' free will, you now are able to evolve in a way that is beneficial for mankind, for you, and for everyone else. And if everyone else is doing that, we are evolving. And our evolution
Yeah.
now is going in a different route. Before we just talked about evolving to enlightenment, but we're evolving more than just to enlightenment. We're evolving in all the key aspects of ourselves, truth, beauty, honesty, justness, fairness, abilities to do things that you can't do before, and that's called wizardliness, and a whole series of other things. But that is how we're really, really evolving at this point in time, and we're able to do more. We can change things. We have the energies now to do that. We just have to take possession of that and do it.
Yeah.
We are unlimited. And we have to know that we are unlimited. And by knowing that, the changes will occur and you'll do the things that are necessary to be done. And that is part of your evolution. That's part of everyone's evolution. Eventually, it will all become all enlightened beings because all these attributes will now become part of us.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
and if you're fully enlightened, they're all part of you already. So
I see this raising of consciousness we're talking about. Does that have a resultant effect showing up in the Schumann resonance?
I think Schumann resonance is sort of a measure of things, and even those things are the energies around surrounding Schumann frequencies have also changed. Before, when I was measuring Schumann frequencies, uh, they would have different colors associated with the different frequencies. Now the frequencies are having all colors. I haven't measured it for a while now, but everything is, in fact, from an energetic perspective, has been changing. Earth has been changing. The
Yeah.
galactic center has been changing. And the energies of the Earth and galactic centers are mimicking us, and we're all part of that scenario that is in fact occurring.
Yeah.
So we are quite unlimited, and we just have to take possession of that aspect of ourselves
Yeah.
and do the things that are of a free will and evolve accordingly.
Yeah. And I think also that, well, this is my opinion again, and that is that I hear from people that doing dowsing. They're telling me that it is easier to do it now. They get it right more times now than they did before. Is that maybe when you do the dowsing, would that maybe have an effect that comes from the raising of consciousness, where we are closer to the source of the universal mind that knows all things?
Well, you're tuned into energies now, and depending upon what your practices are, if you're a dowser or if you do radiesthesia, I probably should stop sharing too, maybe. And since we're just talking, if you're doing things, you're now able to
Yeah.
connect much more easily. I can connect energetically nowadays. I can connect to anyone in the world at any time
Yeah.
immediately, and it doesn't matter who they are. And I can go back in time and do things that before people say, "Oh, that's absurd." But you can do these types of things uh, unconsciously. You just say, "Oh, this is I want to do this or I want to do that," and you're doing that. Before I was teaching in some of my books, I was teaching how to move energies around the world, anytime, anywhere, immediately, and copy those energies. And that's what some of my books talk about. And when you
Yeah.
do that, you start doing those things, you realize who you are and that you are unlimited and that you are beyond thoughts. And then that gives you uh, the energies and knowingness of who you really are. And that's how we all evolve. So
Yeah.
the practices of dowsing, practices of radiesthesia, you're really linking into the energies that people don't see, but they are there. And people like Valerie Hunt, for example, they've done studies using electromagnetic devices, and you get graphs of energies going up, the muscles contracting, heart, things of that nature. And they didn't realize that if you look at that and look at the quiet space on those graphs, you actually can measure the energies that are there that are of the subtle nature. So,
Hmm.
people don't realize that, and people think, subtle nature, subtle energies, that's the imaginations of these guys. But now there are books that describe that and how to look at those things in that way. But to truly understand it and feel it and work with it, use of the pendulum and uses of the field of radiesthesia is
Hmm.
essential. And the Jesuit priest way back when they were doing their missionary work, they didn't know if food was good or water was good or anything. They could test for it and they know. And we can do that with all the grocery stuff that we buy.
Hmm.
Just because something says it's organic doesn't mean that there hasn't been in the past grown on land that had pesticides in it, or Roundup or whatever. You don't know that for this season. Yeah, it's organic. So you
Hmm.
can test for all these things using these tools, and these tools are there for everyone, and it's not that hard to learn. I teach about it in my YouTube channels, how to do those types of things. But again, I
Yeah.
may be getting off subject of, I was talking about the shift, but the shift is a very meaningful thing that's happening. It's something that is there on a very, very concrete basis for me with measuring these energies. The world has just changed in these astronomical ways, and we've changed in astronomical ways.
I'm also wondering about something that involves ascension. A lot of people are talking about ascension right now. And I think everybody have their own opinion on it. And I know the Christian faith has also an opinion on ascension. Now they call it rapture. That is when somebody just suddenly disappear. And you wonder, is that real or is it just something that somebody made up? But I have about another 35-second story I'm going to tell you. And that is that, about 2 decades ago now, the Catholic Church commissioned a priest to go to India, and I think Bhutan. I think he may have been in Tibet also. He was trying to find and confirm a rumor that they had heard that people actually disappeared. They turned into a ball of light and poof, they were gone. Or they were sitting in a tent in meditation for 7 days. Nobody entered, nobody left. At one time, the inside of the tent lit up, and when they opened the door, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
This evidence the fact that there is such a thing as ascension, where we leave the physical and take the physical with us. That's what he found the evidence of when he came to India and found that. So there is no question what you are talking about. There is substance behind it. You're talking a little bit about the science behind it, and that's one thing that we need. We understand to we need to understand how it happens as well as why it happens, and then we can much more easily accept the fact that consciousness is racing. It is up to us now. What do we want to do with it?
Yeah. Well, there's two things. What you're talking about is the rainbow body, and the
Yeah,
Jesuit priest who did that. And yeah, when a person decides that, oh, there's time for me to go, yeah, they wrap them in a shroud, and over a period of days, their body, you see rainbows in the sky and things of that nature. And sometimes certain fragrances and sounds may also occur. And what remains at the very end is just a few particles of maybe their fingernails or whatever. Nothing is really left. And that's one form of the change of who you are. And you go through a practice to do that. And you learn about love everything is, in fact, love at a very high level, and that's part of the practice. What's happening now, I think, is another form of ascension. I don't know where it'll go, but I think that where it's leading is it's leading us to understand who we are. And in
yeah,
terms of who we are able to evolve and do things of our own free will and be able to teach that. And more people will be of this nature that can do more and move through the levels of changes that are occurring. In the raw contact talks about some of this stuff also, and we can say that we're moving through into from the third density into the fourth, fifth densities that are occurring at this point in time, and it'll take a while for all that to occur. Uh, but we are, with our levels of energies now going to an infinite level, we are there. And I didn't talk about all the other changes that are occurring in terms of the
yeah,
shift. The elementals that are coming into play. These are electromagnetic and other types of toroidal energies that are now part of us, and they're within us, and they're part of the reason that our energies have been moving so high. They're part of the reason that where our abilities are in fact growing in astronomical ways. So we are truly evolving, and in my belief is that we're evolving to be more of who we are and to take possession of who we are. So that's my take on the ascension that is occurring.
yeah.
And it's occurring now.
And it's slowly, for most of us, it's probably a slow process. I don't think I've gotten to the point where I can say, "Hey, I'm out of here, poof, and I'm gone." That
No, but your energies have changed. If I were to measure your energies, and your energies will be at that unmeasurable level. So
yeah,
it's merely a matter of saying, okay, I am at this unmeasurable level, and I can make choices, and I don't have to be hindered by the egregores or attachments that hindered me in the past. And I can be who I truly am and evolve accordingly. And I believe that is what this is all about at this point in time.
Yeah. Uh, there is something that is so obvious for most of us, and that is that it's not like it used to be. Something is happening to our conscious understanding of things. And then there are some people that they have no clue on spirituality whatsoever. They're into the nut and the bolt, and they're telling me, oh, the world is falling apart. It's going to have all kinds of misery and stuff. And, oh, it's really bad. You know, they just load on. I mean, the government are eating stupid pills and everything's going to pot. Why can't everybody see this?
Well, I think
What's,
more and more people are, in fact, we're looking at evolution. And back in September to December of 2025, we're seeing that more people were in the joylessness state. But then with the increases in energy, that joylessness state morphed into, instead of 90% being in this joylessness state, that decreased considerably, and people moved into the next realm where there's hope and there's movement forward. Not everyone is affected that way, and there's lots of media
yeah,
doing their things, but we don't have to be governed by all those things. And so more and more people have awakened. And that's the reason that I think you're seeing all the stuff that's going on today. You know, they're not taking it lying down that, well, they're not trying to do harm, but they're not necessarily saying that, yes, we'll just go on in this way that and be governed by whatever forces that
yeah,
will govern us. We're saying that we have our free will and we want our free will and we're going to take our free will because that is how we're to evolve. And I think we're seeing more of that as we're moving forward. And so I'm not strictly believing in the fact that we're living in this joylessness state. I think that we're evolving. And if we all hold within our heart love, justness, fairness, gratitude, our wizardly abilities, and all the things that are there, harmony, and we work on those aspects of it and perpetuate that and walk through those steps and inform people that they can walk through and don't have to be governed by anything that they don't want to be governed by. It's
yeah,
our choice. And as more and more people do that, we'll make the right decisions and do the right things. And I think you're seeing the beginnings of that at this point in time.
yeah. And you just said the word. You said the word love.
Yep,
And I have a saying that I've been using for a while, and I know I stole it from somebody, but I don't know who. And that is, it doesn't matter what the question is, the answer is love.
yep,
And another one on that one is that about a year before Albert Einstein died, he said in an interview that I have studied the universe more than most, and I have found that the whole universe is made from the vibration of love. That was a sharp guy.
yep. And he's absolutely
Yeah,
correct. Love is a very key thing. And I have affirmations that start with the word love. I maintain, sustain, and support love,
yeah,
harmony, gratitude, and etc. And I say that every day.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
Oh,
the
I
world
got
I
a
want to create.
question for what is next for you now? Are you writing another book or are you going on some, you traveling or what are you doing next?
Well, I think I want to write another book at this point. Meg, who's my partner in a lot of these things on the shift, uh, said that, well, we have to let enough things happen to know what we're writing about. So we held off writing for a while. But now I think with the aspects of thoughts and I am beyond thoughts, I can bring enough of what's happening in the shift and bring enough of the things together with regard to
Yeah.
beyond thought and pull it together into a new book. Before we're creating a book, Birth of a New Humanity, but the new book might be something in terms of evolving light, how we're evolving and what's happening at this point in time. Because I think the word has to get out there and the changes
Yeah.
in energies have to be known. And the changes that you saw on my charts, they're real changes. They're real numbers
Yeah.
that's occurring.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People should
Yeah.
know that and understand that and be emboldened by that to be who they are.
All right. And uh, I see we got 4 minutes left, but tell people first of all where they can get a hold of you. You're on Facebook and YouTube and places where they can connect with you, and also where they can go and buy the books.
Yeah, well, my website is probably will describe the books, and that's simply https://jerrygin.com, and that'll lead you to my YouTubes that talk about personal wavelength and other things, and my books and the YouTube channel. And then in terms of getting books, you probably just go to Amazon or the other bookstores that are there, and the books will be there. It's there in Kindle, it's there in paperback, and with understanding that the new book will be taking those same affirmations and just adding in the words within and beyond the cosmos. Um,
Okay.
because that is where we are now. We have evolved, and I want to get that message out. And that's one of the
Yeah.
key things that I want to get out. That the old affirmations have evolved. They're good for the time, and they brought you to who you were at that time. But now we have evolved, and now we need to add those few simple words to those affirmations and
Okay.
now there's an understanding of who you are. You're beyond thoughts.
Excellent. Yeah. Could you maybe, we got a few minutes here, so talk about maybe what the subjects do speak about in the one of the books.
Okay. The book, The Seeker and the Teacher of Light, teaches about the essence of who you are. And that taught it at that point that you're I am. Uh, and we taught the affirmations that connected you to the I am. Because, and in my thinking at that point, we are thoughts. And we're the origins of those thoughts, and therefore that is the essence of who you are. Yes, religion teaches it one way, but we are everything, and that's what the book
Yeah.
taught. And science, subtle energies, and spirituality gets more into the science of it all and subtle energies and to get an understanding of what subtle energies really are and how to measure it and how to work with it.
Mhm.
And by doing that and looking at it in that way, it leads you to who you are. And that's the reason I talk about spirituality, because spirituality is nothing more than who you are. And that's what that teaches. And so that was therefore a path to your I am.
Mhm.
And so I've got to now expand upon that concept. Those concepts are still all good concepts, and most people don't think about themselves and don't think about I am. And they have spirituality in other definitions. And my definitions are just who you really are. And before, if you just state, I am, rethink I am, your energy changes and it brings you into that stillness of your who you are. And
Yeah.
you can feel that stillness. Now, to do that, you have to bring in I am beyond. If you just breathe in And this is a good way to describe it. Breathe in with I, out with am, in with be, and out with yawn. So you breathe I, breathe in, am, out, be, in, yawn, out. So I am beyond. And when you do that slowly and do it 3 times, you bring yourself into another state. And that state of harmony and stillness is there. That's the same state you get into when you meditate. And in that meditation, you are in that state. And that's what the books were teaching, especially the Seeker and the Teacher of Light. But we use it with the I am alone, or I am rethink I am. It spirals you into that state. And words are important. And the word rethink is important. Because if you have a thought, the thought is past and is no longer valid. You don't get the whole picture. So the key words are in that area is rethink. So you rethink who you are, it connects you with who you are. Same with word see. You see something that has passed. If you re-see, you see it all. And therefore I am re-see within and beyond the cosmos. Connects you to the energies of yourself. Recreate is another key word too. And if you recreate, you're always creating something, but if you recreate in the sense of bringing in all thoughts that are there, so I am recreate within and beyond the cosmos thoughts. It brings it
Okay.
into a whole new light.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, this has been very interesting, and I thank you for being with us because you educated some people tonight, and that is good. And for those of you out there that are still with us and watching, we have been talking with Jerry again, and we've been talking about the universe, what it is, how it works, and our process of accelerating consciousness. And you can find more information about that in his books. Go to Amazon and put his name in the search bar and click on it, and that's all it takes. You will find the books, and also read on Amazon. You can read the subjects that is talked about in the books, and there's a likelihood you just might find something in there you can't live without. So just go do it. And if you are watching on YouTube right now, if you like what you heard, please subscribe. That'll help us a lot. And then again, thank you very much, Jerry. And this was so interesting. Maybe I could talk you into coming and doing another show with us sometime.
That's wonderful.
Sounds good. Thank you. And then for everybody out there in radio, TV, and podcast land,